Alright, for the other assignment, it's the realistic water bottle project. So what's cool is I already have one made. Hopefully it opens up. Awesome, it opened up. For this, what you will do first is, so this over here is the real one. Don't worry about the label, because again, we can just take the label and, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. It's not a big deal. So this is what sort of the final, this, as you can see, this is not as finished as it should be. So what I did first is make a copy of half of it, and then half of the cap. I did the same exact thing. I used the pen tool and I went around and made a half copy. And then from that half copy, I gave it a gradient. Let's see if I can access some of this stuff. So I have a gradient over it, and it's white with a little bit of blue in it. And that one I did. Let me see if I can find which one that is. So that is that. So okay. So I have this on multiply, and then I have another one underneath. For the inner glow, I use the FX. So what I mean by using the FX tool, I'll come to this one. So the effects. So you click on the effects and you can drop an inner shadow. And as you see, the shadow is not popping up. Cool. Let's see, black. Why is the inner shadow not popping up? Oh, there it goes. There it goes. So there you go. And I added that inside here, as you can see here at the bottom. Added an inner shadow to the whole thing just to give it some depth. Let's see if I can turn that back off. I don't want this on. Alright, uncheck it, close, so no more of that. And then what I did was, and let me turn on the bottle underneath. So as you see, what I did was I started copying. Can we move it? Will it allow me to move this stuff? Yeah, cool. So I have all these shapes that I created following the reflections. I'm on the wrong tool. Following the reflections, making them blue. Sometimes I left them normal because it didn't really matter about putting a layer blending style on them. Some of these I've added a gradient, as you can see with this one, this big giant one. Edit, undo. And then you find all the highlights and you sort of just trace them out the best you can. There's also an edge. There's an edge to it. As you can see here, I have an edge to the outer side. It stops about there. And you can see where my dots are. My vector points. And I made the shape of it, so it was a little time consuming, but it still worked out in the end. And I still have to layer in some of these because now you have that gradient there, which I'm trying to access, and I don't know where the heck it's at. Where is it located? Alright, this group. Alright, that's the group that's in the center. So I separated everything, the center group. So this is my center group. I'm going to rename it center group, center bottle. And it's all the highlights that are in the center. And because again, you can mirror it, but it's not going to look as clean as it should. And then some of these other curves, wherever the heck they are. Nope, still not there. What is selected? Alright, let's see what's selected. That's the other side, that's why. So you got that small shape, that shape. And they're out of order. I mean, you can put them in any order you want, as long as they're not laying right on top of one another. And I'm actually trying to access that, but you can't find it. So let me turn some eyeballs off on these things. Where's that other half? Yeah. No, that's the whole bottle. That's that side. And all this should be. That's underneath here. Okay, cool. So it is all right in here. These are these other highlight shapes. So there's going to be a lot of reflection. And the reason why I stuck it down here is because this is a clipping mask on my original bottle shape. And because it's a clipping mask, I can go outside, not really worried about them. Same with that one, not really worried about the outside edge. And all you're going to be doing with this one is the pen tool, gradients, a lot of gradients, and laying one thing on top of another. A lot of these highlights, just finding all the highlights within the bottle itself. As you can see, there's a ton of highlights in here, and you would trace all those out and then mirror it onto the other side. This bottom portion, it's a lot of, you can keep it simplified right in here. That's a little crazy. You don't have to do that at all. But the rest of this stuff, yeah, you have to put it in there. I didn't do mine because, again, I know how long it usually takes to do this if you take your time. The cap as well. The easiest way is to get one of these, and I'll show you mine over here. And as you see, it's not real, only because what you have to do afterwards is, let me go to the cap itself. Let me find the whole, actually, let me just do this. I'm going to duplicate the whole thing. Duplicate. Now that it's on top, open up this one, and we're going to start deleting all these lines. And what I did was make one line, one rectangle, and it had a two-tone gradient in it. Let's see if I can access one and show you the two-tone gradient. There we go. As you see, two-tone gradient right in here. Do the thing. Do the thing. Okay, cool. Alright, and we're going to delete this too. Get rid of it. Come on. Get rid of the group. So what I should be left with is just the overall shape of the cap. And what I'm going to do is add a gradient to it. And then go into the gradient. Select one of the colors if it will let me do it. Yeah, there we go. Add some noise. Add some noise to it. Add some noise to do it equal. I won't do it equal. There's no numbers you can input. So get them as close as you can possibly can to equal amount of grain. Right about there. And then put it on a blending style. Overlay tends to work really well. The lighten, not too much. Soft light, I like overlay and soft light, so I'm probably going to leave mine on overlay for the time being, and that will give you your texture or grainy look. And yeah, mine's too green, but it happens. It happens. So there you go. That is the WaterBottle realistic digital vector design. So it shouldn't be too hard. It's a lot. I know I didn't show how to make each and every shape, but it's just using the pen tool again to go around and make all the shapes. and even the shape tool, because these in here, these small little things in there, are just simple shapes, and that's literally it. And you're going to be using and doing a whole lot of shapes.